Oftentimes, I think that our difficulty in making decisions or figuring out what we want to do with our life often comes from this kind of question that maybe we don't think about. What are we actually trying to optimize for? And that actually raises the question, what is the meaning of life? This might be a deep video. I recommend that you watch this video at least 1.5x speed, if not 2 times speed. You can press shift and the greater than symbol on your keyboard to speed up, or you can just do it manually. So the best answer to this question that I've heard is, in fact, the meaning of life is to assign meaning to your life, okay? And this might sound profound, it might not, but this is actually extremely helpful because now what we know is that if we're trying to figure out what we're optimizing for, and that kind of brings into question like what's the meaning of our life, well, we just have to assign this and we just have to figure out what we actually want our life to feel like, what we want the meaning to be. So there's a few ways to kind of think about this question. They're basically thought experiments. One of them would be like your deathbed. So if you think about like when you're on your deathbed, what do you kind of want to like have other people say about you or think about you, or what do you want to think about your own life? And personally, for me, this one doesn't really hit home that much because if I'm dying, then I probably don't really give a shit what people care about me or think about me. I mean, obviously, I want to like help the next generation and everything like that, but that's not going to be my main concern, I don't think. Um, but the one that kind of does hit home for me is, what do you want out of life? Okay, um, and this, I think, this is maybe a kind of obvious question because that's kind of your meaning is like, what do you want? But this could have several things that is going to be helpful for us to figure out what you should be optimizing for right now. Okay, so what do you want? You could say something like kids. Okay, you could say something like Lamborghini. Okay, I think a Lamborghini is a perfectly reasonable thing to want to get. Um, and you could say like extremely hot wife. Because 99.3% of my channel is men. So I think you could probably relate. Or a hot husband, you know, I don't judge. Now here's what I was just deciding, and here's how I'm kind of figuring out how to optimize for things, okay? So I take all these things into consideration, and I sort of came up with my, I guess, progression and what I want to optimize for right now and in the future as well. So the first thing is fun and excitement. And this isn't just hedonism. Obviously, you know, I'm kind of grinding right now, and that's not exactly fun and exciting. But this is kind of the fun and excitement that comes from working on something. Like, there's a feeling where when you're unproductive, when you watch YouTube all day or you're just fucking around, you feel like bad. Like you have like a bad feeling about kind of the future and yourself. And maybe we could kind of call this like good feeling, um, because like there's a great feeling that comes from working hard and being disciplined and feeling like you're moving forward in life, you know? So that's kind of that thing. And like this feeling, dude, when you get started on like a project that you really believe in, especially in the early days before you have to refactor a bunch of code, or when you're just making high level decisions and you're like figuring things out and kind of trying things, that's extremely fun, and you can ride this high of like 1 to 2 to 4 weeks where you're just extremely excited about this project and it just feels like the most important thing ever. And that's one of the best feelings. And you can get this, you know, halfway through a business as well. Like, it doesn't have to be just in the beginning, but this is an extremely nice feeling to have. And it's also productive towards my second goal, which is, I guess we'll say it, and um, play and friends. And so my kind of goal is that once I've made enough money or once I've created enough income, um, I want to kind of like go travel and just hang out with friends and, you know, like live in Bali or some shit with a bunch of people that are similar to me. And this requires that you've made money in this step, but more than that, it requires that you also have like a friend group, and that you're actually like the type of person who wants to have fun. You know, if you like kill yourself right here, then maybe you're too stressed or something to do that, to have this stage. And then finally, I move on to the last stage, which is basically like family, like, you know, having kids and shit like that. I'm gonna gloss over this because that's a bunch of lovey-dovey stuff you don't want to know about. um, but yeah, so what this means for me is that what I'm optimizing for right now is actually this first thing, which is fun and excitement, and working on things that I feel like matter and that are exciting and extremely fun and interesting to work on. Because I also know that if I do this part well, if I'm working on things that actually do matter, and if I'm actually working a lot because I'm, you know, interested and I believe in these things, then I'm gonna get to these stages with ease, right? So now I know, like, a lot of people at my age, especially kind of in my circles, are optimizing for, you know, they would say first is money. And the funny thing about money, kind of especially in my situation, is it doesn't really change much. You know, if I had 10 times as much money as I have right now, or if I was making 10 times as much as I was right now, it wouldn't really be that different for me. You know, maybe I would buy like, I don't know, a new MacBook, but mine works perfectly fine. You know, um, so there's really nothing I can do with money for the time being that really accomplishes anything. So it's not motivating for me to work towards that and optimize for that thing. What I should really be doing is this, like figuring out first of all what I'm optimizing for, and then actually optimizing my actions towards this result. So I hope this was helpful. I don't know if people think about this very often. I was a little bit confused the last few days. Like, I have kind of a lot of opportunities and things coming at me, and I'm like trying to choose. And the question ultimately boils down to, what are you optimizing for? Because you have to know what you're optimizing for in order to make the best kind of decision, the best logical decision. And so, yeah, I think that's a really important thing to know. What are you optimizing for, and how does that play into your life as a whole? So, anyways, hopefully this video was sort of helpful. See you in the next one.